The fixed level of detail is the one most widely used, let's say, because we are in full control of which dimension we want to fix our value on. You can't just use any other words to indicate that we are going to create a result and it's going to be based on that specification of that dimension in the calculation itself, and nothing else will influence that result, except, of course, that context filter I mentioned in the order of operations overview. All right, so that's how you can influence the result of that calculation, by using a top filter and making it a filter that appears earlier on in the full order of operations instead of the value itself, let's say. So the detail of the visualization is not going to change that result. It's only going to be changed by potential filters or the dependency on other level of detail calculations being calculated first, but that's already taking us a little bit too far. Fixed, very powerful. In this example, we are going to create an analysis of how many new customers get added to our portfolio every month. So you can also see that the level of detail of this visualization is going to be the month and the year. So the same month of year, and it's going to be fixed on the let's say date that a customer gets added. So we first need to indicate per customer what the date there was. And let's do that from scratch. It's going to give you an idea of the different steps we take. Clear this sheet, and this is going to be our minimum date of customer, and then the count, let's say. Those are 3 steps we are going to take. Based on the order date, we are going to calculate the date our customer gets added to our portfolio for the first time. So we are going to take a look at our customers itself, all our customers in one clean list. And we are going to take a look at their order date. So the date they are added to our customer list. And by typing in your date right here, you immediately get it's a quick shift to the exact date, let's say, but immediately the discrete exact date. Some people having struggled with first dragging it in, making it an exact date, and then changing it back to discrete value. This is a quick go to exact discrete date, let's say, by typing it into your row shelf itself. Just a note on the side to make your work a little bit more efficient. But we are now looking at our customers on the left and all the dates they have made a purchase, they have made an order over a few different years, let's say. So what we now want to do is we want to indicate the minimum date per customer. So that will be the first time he gets added to our customer list. And how we do that is by creating a new calculation. This calculation will be the minimum date of customer. We will fix, in this case, on our customer itself. That will be the value of that dimension we want to look at every time over and over again to decide or to calculate the minimum order date. So fixed, and you can see the keyword popping up. Fixed syntax is already done for me. I'm now typing customer name being the dimension we want to fix on. I'm using this double point, let's say, and we are now going to make our statement of what this calculation needs to do every customer name, every member of customer name. Minimum order date. And we have to close with the correct curly bracket to the top of our calculation. If I now push OK, you can see my end result popping up here being the minimum date of customer. And this minimum date of customer, if I now drag it in here, so minimum date of customer, same way, you can see that end result being, it's always the 18th of February 2016 for that first customer, and it puts that value next to every row that customer has. So that minimum date value gets calculated correctly. And if I now use that minimum date of every customer and use it to create my visualization, so let's go to yet another sheet and make that trend line over time, that trend line, and we will use that calculated date, in fact, and we will use that one to generate our months and our years over time on our x-axis. All right, trend line. We will use this minimum date of customer. We will use our month of minimum date. So this now generates 42 data points, let's say. And what we need to do now is calculate the count of our customer name, because now if we count our customers, they will be in their correct bucket of that minimum date, because that is also linked to each other. So if I take my customer name with the control and I do my count distinct in there, we can see a trend line over time of this is 32 customers that got added to our customer list in 2016, more specifically January 2016, in that month. And if we want the full end result, let me take you back to that full end result. So you already see that the chart has the same kind of form, same kind of trend. And the only thing we did here was to divide that one trend line and put it into some extra detail being based on the region. So if I drag in my regions and I put that one on color, so putting it on color, you can see we have 4 regions, and that makes up our trend line over time. And it is a date that gets calculated here for every customer, and the aggregation or the result calculation is based on the minimum date. So if we go back to that logic, we had customers lined up, they made multiple orders per customer. Our calculation itself goes over every customer independently of our granularity or detail of the visualization, because in this case, the level of detail of my trend line visualization is in fact the month of that minimum date calculation. And that minimum date calculation is being our third column here, where we have calculated the logic itself. So this is one value out of 3 for every customer calculated with that fixed calculation. And that customer name is not in our visualization anywhere, but in the background, that minimum date got calculated for every customer. And that count distinct of that customer takes up one data point only, so that minimum date, and then counts that customer and puts it in the correct bucket here in our visualization.